60s, one of the most turbulent decades in our nation's history. Well, for those of us that were baby boomers during that time, we remember it a little differently. Sure, we remember the Cuban Missile Crisis, and we remember diving under our desks at school whenever there was a nuclear drill. We remember the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. We remember the Vietnam War protest and how they polarized our nation. And who of us could not answer the question, where were you when JFK got shot? And yet we remember the 60s as a time where life seemed a little simpler and more carefree. We had families when we were growing up that smoked and drank, didn't hurt them. We drove around in the back of pickup trucks. We rode our bicycles without helmets. We played outside all day long without any parents, as long as we came in at what time? When the street lights went on, exactly. We even drank water out of the garden hose, not out of a bottle. And you know what? Despite it all, we survived. Now, the historians describe the 60s as a decade of great change for our nation. But for most of us, it was simply a time where we raised our families, we found ourselves, or we simply grew up. Join us now as we look at some of the events and the images of the 60s that made the 1960s a decade not to be forgotten. Has anybody here seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but they say the good die young. I just looked around and he was gone.
Has anybody here seen my old friend John? Can you tell me where he's gone? Freed a lot of people, but
go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're pretty busy for a minute.
Armstrong is on the moon. Neil Armstrong, 38-year-old American, standing on the surface of the moon on this July 20th, 1969.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.